What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Patriots Today by Chad Sports. We have a lot to talk about, so I decided to go live. We do know that it is Super Bowl week, but unfortunately the Patriots season ended months ago. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what the offseason will continue to look like for the Patriots. I appreciate you guys for tuning in here because we do go live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you guys are successfully getting off work, hopefully not in any traffic, tuning into YouTube and want to hear the latest on the trade rumors for the Patriots, free agency updates, and even a little bit about what the Patriots players are going to do as they also enter free agency later in the offseason. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's see who all has joined us this early on this live stream. 55 people in here watching as I see Double S, Boston Bob, Bella Love, Michelle, Big Juice, hello, Lil Mammoth, Christopher Domingo, all in the chat here with us. Appreciate you guys for coming in time and time again to help this channel grow. So let's go ahead and start off with a pretty hot topic on today's show. Other than Tee Higgins, which I know is my top target in free agency, Lopez in Texas top target in free agency for the Patriots. Other than Tee Higgins, a top wide receiver free agent that you would want the Patriots to sign this offseason. I've seen a lot of you guys say Amari Cooper, D-Hop, possibly maybe a Chris Godwin could come and play for New England. So let me know who you guys want in the comment section down below as we get more and more people into this stream. Aaron's in here saying, what's up? Zachary Barr saying, hi, Allie. Ernie's in here saying, hey, what's going on? Jermaine Brown, let's get those likes up, Pets fans. I always love when you guys help me do my job. Lucas saying he only wants Higgins. I got a Slayton in here. Aaron wants Godwin. Lucas wants Higgins. That's it. Lil Mammoth wants Godwin. Jay in AVL says, any massholes in the house? Zachary Barth saying, hi, Allie. We got a little AJ Brown. Brown's not a free agent. You'd have to trade for AJ, but we'll talk a little bit about him later on this show as well. Got Bring Jules back. Boston Bob saying smash that like as we have 60 people so far in the chat already. But only 16 likes, guys. A little bit embarrassing. I'm going to be honest. 16 likes is not making me feel very, very good. Let's see if we can at least get that to 30. Lucas, I think we should go for Higgins, but more O-line focused in free agency than draft wide receivers in the draft. As Zachary Barth wants to actually draft a wide receiver with the 4th pick. Well, if I'm drafting a wide receiver with the 4th pick, I'm taking Teteroa McMillan. That's a hot take for some of you guys because obviously Travis Hunter may possibly still be on the board by the 4th pick, but I think Tet would just be a better option for Drake Maye. If you guys are new to this channel, I've been on the Tet train for a while. If you're not new to this channel, you're probably sick of hearing me talk about the wide receiver out of Arizona. Perez is in here. Zachary, Ruan, Jay, Lil, Lucas, Aaron. So let me ask you guys another question here. Obviously, other than the free agent topic that we have to go on, what about a dream trade target for the Patriots? This is somebody that's currently under contract for another team. Who would you want? Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, and Robert Kraft to literally pick up the phone and say, here's the deal I'm going to offer you. Like Nico Harrison just did with Luka Doncic, which is still the number one topic in all of sports, like 3 days later. Lil wants AJ Brown, no brainer. Same with Aaron. LFG is actually going to say Nico Collins here, which I selected in my fantasy draft this year. Jamar Chase would be huge. Lucas wants Justin Jefferson. Jay Jettas or Jamar. Got a DK in there. Lots of AJ Brown. So clearly everybody's on the same page. And I didn't say wide receiver. I just said trade target. Everybody's on the same page. We need a superstar pass catcher to New England. Yes, we need a left tackle. Yes, we could possibly use another edge. Maybe even a guy in the secondary to help out Christian Gonzalez. But it really does seem like the consensus amongst the massholes is that we need a superstar to catch the ball from Drake Maye. Kevin saying dream trade, AJ Brown. More realistic, probably Cooper Kupp. Most important, O-line. Secure that, and they will come. If you build it, they will come. Name that movie. Terry Woodfin actually likes Mike Evans. Perez going to say do it in the draft. And then Justin Jefferson, Jamar, seeing a lot of top wide receivers here that the Patriots could possibly trade for later on in this offseason. We're going to talk more about that later on in today's show, but I do want to go on ahead and give a quick shout out here to our sponsors. We do have two on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. So I wanted to break that down for you guys, and after that, we will break down more into a little bit about free agent updates, trade targets, and also what the Patriots free agents are going to do moving forward as well. Our first sponsor on today's show will be Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I play Prize Picks every single game day, and I want you guys to join me. So if you want to pick more or less on a player's projected stats, you guys can win up to 1,000 times your cash. That's right, up to 1,000 times your cash. And right now, the big game is quickly approaching. So if you guys want a free pick, they're giving away Patrick Mahomes to have at least one passing yard in the big game. Go on ahead, click more on that, because I promise you it's not going to be less. If you guys want to get started, just go on ahead and download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Another sponsor here is Game Time. If you guys are looking to get tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, or maybe even the theater, go on ahead, download the Game Time app. This is the only app that I use. Why? Because I know I am going to get the lowest price guaranteed regardless, and I love the fact that you guys can see the view from your seat in the app before you buy. So if you guys want to go on ahead and get started here with Game Time, just download the Game Time app. Use a promo code ChatSports. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, go on ahead, download the Game Time app. Use promo code ChatSports. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Download Game Time today, because what time is it? It is game time. I use Game Time. I use Prize Picks every single day, so be sure to give them some love. And Producer Lopez has made it super, super easy for everybody to access both of those in the chat. Go on ahead, click that link, and you guys can go on ahead and get started on today's live show. And even when we were talking about Prize Picks, we were asking you guys about the big game coming up. We all know what that is. Who do you guys got in that ball game? Type C for Chiefs, type E for Eagles. Look, I never in my life thought I would say this, but go Eagles. I have to go with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. I just think that the team, this is their year. This is their year. I think the Chiefs struggled early on. And then obviously, with all the referees and winning last minute, I think that Kansas City to have a three-peat is just unfair. I don't want to see it. I don't want to celebrate them. I'd rather just switch it up. I mean, it came down to, back in 2016, 2017 with the powerhouses in college football. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, every other year, Bama. As a Patriots fan, we lived through the dynasty, all right? I'm sure it got very old, but since it's not my team, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Boston Bob spamming E. Lil Mammoth, Bruce, Dice. Tycoon is going to say N neither. I wish I could have put like a type M for Meteoroid, because I think that's the only way Patriots fans would probably be happy with this outcome of the game. Terry Woodfin is saying 3P, double S saying E. TDP is actually going to go with the Chiefs here. Terry is going to say Chiefs, so once again, MA is going to go with the Eagles. Double S saying Chiefs defense can't stop Barkley, and it's also Saquon Barkley's birthday on the Super Bowl, which I think, you just feel a little bit lighter. You feel a little bit better when you're playing on your birthday. Lucas going to say M for Meteoroid. James saying fly, Eagles fly. It's very weird to have all of this in our chat. I will be very, very honest. But I do have a couple of Eagles fans in Dallas, and I'm going to go over to actually one of our coworkers, Jake Chipper, who is the producer of Eagles Now by Chat Sports. He and Chase and a bunch of other members of Chat Sports are in New Orleans right now doing great coverage of the Super Bowl. Go give them a follow. I don't care if you unsubscribe from Eagles and Chiefs channels after the Super Bowl, but go give them some support, because I'm actually going over to Chipper's girlfriend's house I told her I'll watch the game with her so she's not alone because, her boyfriend will be working. So I'm going to have to watch the game with an Eagles fan. So please, please pray for me because I will need it. So the big game is coming up here, but I want to turn it a little bit to the defensive side of the football. And the reason why I asked this question after the Eagles and the Chiefs is because there has been some trade rumors that maybe New England would be interested in trading for a guy like Josh Sweat on the defensive side of the football. So what about a Chase Young, somebody that can come help out Keion White, Christian Gonzalez, maybe add a little bit more depth to the linebacker room because we saw that after Juwan Bentley went down, we really struggled in our 3-4 front. So what kind of defensive player should New England trade for, and which defensive player do you have in mind that you would like to see come play for New England later this year? I got Lucas saying, bring back Stephon Gilmore. I wanted to sign him last year, but obviously he did great things with Minnesota this past season. I believe Josh Sweat is a free agent this season. No, he might be. I'm not honestly even sure. Myles Garrett, obviously on the radar of a lot of teams right now. He more recently just said that he did request a trade from Cleveland. But the only thing with Myles Garrett is he has time and time again said he wants to go to a contender. And while that can be New England, I think that this is going to be another season of growing pains. Not as tough as it was last year. I do expect us to have more than 4 wins under Mike Vrabel, and now with Drake Maye not being a rookie. But a Super Bowl, that I'm not 110% confident in, which is why I don't know if we can swing a Myles Garrett trade. We can pay him, but I don't know if we're going to be able to give him what he wants. And what we do want is a guy that wants to play in New England. Double S agreeing with me. We need Garrett, O-line, and major receivers. Don't want Myles, too old, costs too much. TJ Watt, Abdul Carter, which is not even in the NFL yet. Bring back Gilmore. I think Gilmore would be a really good veteran to keep in the secondary, and that way you don't have to purposefully re-sign Jonathan Jones either. Jeffrey Simmons would be a great addition, but he does want to go to a team that's guaranteed to win next season, as Steven James is also in the chat here as well. All right, well, one of my final questions for you guys before we do hop into our first segment on today's show, and we're going to talk a little bit on the back half about free agents on the Patriots this season, where they're going to go, if they're going to re-sign, and my predictions for what those free agents are going to look like. But this is probably the most popular free agent for the Patriots right now. Should the Patriots re-sign Jacoby Brissett? Obviously, we know that he was brought in for a very, very specific reason this year, and he did his job. He was a mentor to Drake Maye, and he was a good backup option when Drake Maye went down. He helped us beat the Jets later in the season when he did sustain a concussion. So should we re-sign Jacoby Brissett? Type N for no, type Y for yes. Dice saying no, Lucas no, Bruce Jr., Aaron, KM saying no. Time in the Buckeye making an appearance in here, a chat sports legend. Christopher Domingo, I don't actually think I've seen a single yes. So I think we're all on the same page that Brissett did his job. It is time to say goodbye. Thank you for everything you did for us, but hopefully, I personally think we should keep Joe Milton and not trade him. I would rather have Joe Milton and a solid backup quarterback because you never know with injuries. And if we have a similarity to the horrible offensive line that we had this year next season, I would want to keep your backup very, very close at quarterback. But there have been some rumors that maybe they want to trade away Joe Milton for a 3rd-round pick this year, which they could possibly swing. So if they do end up keeping Joe Milton, I think you can say sayonara to Jacoby Brissett, respectfully. I just think that, they already put him in, is the Allstate the commercial where they have all the backup quarterbacks? Do you know what I'm talking about? They have, some company, I think it's Allstate, maybe not. They have all these, Colt McCoy and Jacoby Brissett coming in to do the role of a typical husband. And I thought it was insane because they put Jacoby Brissett in this commercial week 7. He was a starter in the NFL for 5 weeks, which was 5 weeks too long for the Patriots. But I was like, that's kind of crazy to already label him as a professional backup. I felt a little bit bad, but he's a good guy, so I guess it makes sense. It is progressive. Okay, thank God everybody knows what I'm talking about. I see it all the freaking time. All right, well, coming up here on today's show, we've got 3 segments for you guys. No mailbag this week. I want to save the questions until the first week of the offseason, which, of course, is next week because that means no more football games until 2025 in September. We're going to give you guys a Tee Higgins update. Obviously, this is the hottest commodity in NFL free agency. A lot of teams want him, but does Tee Higgins want us? More importantly, do we want Tee Higgins? Sounds insane, but maybe let me break it down for you in our first show. Our second segment here is going to be Drake Maye's dream teammate. He talked to Kay Adams about what it would be like just to throw with certain star receivers, not necessarily in New England, but could they ever visit, come, or trade to the Patriots? Well, we'll have to talk about that in the second segment. The third segment, I'm going to talk about Patriots free agent updates. So I'm going to break down some of the players on the roster right now who are set to enter free agency. Will they re-sign? Will they look for another contract elsewhere? And should the Patriots really stick out their neck to keep these players? We're going to break that down here towards the back end of the show. We got a lot to discuss here. As you guys can see from our thumbnail, the icon that you clicked on, Higgins and A.J. Brown are going to be talked about on today's show. So if you guys are ready, go on ahead, like this video for me. We have 100 people watching, 54 likes. So what do you say, Lopez? We'll start our first segment when we reach 675 likes. Does that sound good? That sounds fair? We got 55 likes. We need 20 more likes, and we will start our first segment, which I know all of you want to hear about because clearly it's the number 1 free agent in the NFL. And I just asked you guys, name somebody other than Tee Higgins, and you couldn't name one. Everybody wants him, so I'll give you guys the latest. I'm also going to take a sip of water here because, my goodness. Perez saying I can't re-like. Then go create a burner account and like the video from the burner. We also did get a $2 super chat in here a little bit earlier. Lucas sent in a $2 super chat. Draft priorities: 1, Abdul; 2, Hunter; 3, Mason Graham; 4, T-Mac. So everybody's on the wave of grabbing Abdul Carter. It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting. We need 10 more likes before we start our first segment, which is the Tee Higgins free agency update. So be sure you guys smash that like button. Double S is saying it. Tex and Lopez are spamming it in the comment section. Hector, Perez, TDP, Dice, smash that like button. So close. Just one letter off. The I and the A aren't even close to each other. I don't know how we got Lake, but that's okay. Autocorrect hurts us all. All right. Let's get 7 more likes with 115 people in here. We'll break down Tee Higgins as we have 2 more likes to go now. See how quickly that happens. All right, let me take one last sip here. Who wrote that? Was that you? I want to talk to Tee Higgins. Yes, we got 77. Beautiful. All right, let's talk about Mr. Tee Higgins. Lopez, I am ready to start whenever you are. The hottest free agent on the market is Mr. Tee Higgins. Every single team is going to be eyeing him, especially teams that are wide receiver needy. And guess what? That is the New England Patriots through and through. We're going to give you guys the latest update on Tee Higgins' free agency destinations, and does he want to come to the Patriots? And do the Patriots want Tee Higgins? We'll break that down here in just a moment. First things first, other than Tee Higgins, I want you guys to go on ahead and name a top wide receiver free agent. There are a lot of guys out there, a Chris Godwin, an Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins. If we can't get Tee Higgins, because take it back last year, we didn't obtain a top wide receiver in free agency last year, who would you want to get? And there's a reason why you should name another player right now. Unfortunately, we did get some upsetting news in free agency about possibly having Tee Higgins in a New England Patriots uniform this year. There is a report that came out that it's not looking too great for Tee Higgins to become a New England Patriot. That's why it is breaking our hearts. Breaking down the latest report here from Albert Breer, NFL Insider. He said, here's the thing. They offered Brandon Ayuk a better deal than Pittsburgh last offseason. They offered Ayuk a better deal than Cleveland did last offseason. And if I remember right, again, I don't have it in front of me. I know we talked about this before. I don't think it was a $32 million on a 4-year deal, or he had a choice. Or $30 million per year, and maybe it was on a 3-year deal. From Albert Breer, it just sounds like money may not be the end-all be-all to snag a guy like Tee Higgins. And this has been proven to us in the past. Last offseason, we had 3 swings and misses. We tried to get Calvin Ridley. We offered him out the wazoo, and he decided to go with the Titans, who now have the first pick in the NFL draft, so they were somehow worse than New England this year. Then you tried with Deebo Samuel. He re-signed with the 49ers. And then you tried with Brandon Ayuk, and it was the exact same thing. And as Albert Breer reminded us, we offered Brandon Ayuk the most money in free agency, and he still went back to San Francisco. This could be an exact replica of what happens with Tee Higgins. He still has the option to re-sign with the Cincinnati Bengals, despite the amount of money New England can offer him. So now that you do have a little bit of inside perspective as to money isn't everything to some of these guys, some won a Super Bowl like a Myles Garrett. An NFL insider does predict that Tee Higgins is going to want the full package when it comes to money. They say he could sign a 4-year deal worth $114 million with $70 million guaranteed. I think he's personally worth that money, but sheesh, that is a lot of money that you could possibly try to package with Higgins. And then you still have to go out and get offensive linemen, defensive linemen, secondary players, even a wide receiver too, unless you want to have Tee Higgins and DeMario Douglas. If you are a defender in the NFL, who do you think they're going to throw to? It's going to be very easy to pick apart. A reason why Tee Higgins is such a lethal weapon is because you have Jamar Chase playing right next to him, which Cincinnati may still want to keep around. And breaking down here a little bit more, Alex Ballantyne from Bleacher Report says a Tee Higgins tag and trade would be the ideal scenario for the Patriots. Not just a free agent mishap, but they can maybe try to work it around so that they can obtain him regardless. So if he does end up hitting free agency, you can try and work out this fantastic deal, offer him the moon and the sun the same way you did to Ayuk, and Higgins may still not sign. But if you do a tag and trade, maybe that does secure a little bit more of a promise to bring Higgins to New England. So here is what the Bleacher Report trade would look like. If you ended up trading for Tee Higgins, you would give up your pick number 38, which is your second pick in the NFL draft, and you would give pick number 145 overall, which is your 5th round draft pick this year. And I could see Cincinnati, who, struggled this year as well, trying to rebuild, trying to give some other assets to their growing quarterback in Joe Burrow. Maybe they would listen to this type of trade. So if we don't end up getting Tee Higgins in free agency, there could possibly be another way. But I will say this. I do like Tee Higgins. There is no doubt he is the top talent in free agency. But with a growing program like the Patriots, I don't know if it's worth giving up future assets for Tee Higgins right now. Should the Patriots trade for Tee Higgins? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Obviously, this would be a different route they could possibly take if free agency doesn't work out. But we're going to break down here coming up. The Patriots did make a wide receiver coaching hire that could be a little bit more of a help to grab some top talent in the passing game this season. Before I break that down, let me go ahead and tell you guys real quick about our sponsor on today's show, and that is Game Time. This is the #1 way I get tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, or maybe even the theater. I recently just took my parents to an NHL game, and I use Game Time because I actually love the feature called Game Time Picks. All you have to do is click Game Time Picks while you're looking for tickets, and this will give you guys the best deal and the lowest price guaranteed. That way you don't have to spend time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Doesn't have to be NHL. The Boston Celtics are right down the road, and hey, Don't look now, but they are on a 4-game win streak. So if you guys want to go see the Celtics play, or the Bruins, or the Red Sox, season is starting very, very soon. You guys can go on ahead, snag your tickets, use Game Time Picks. You can see the feature at the top of your screen right there, and that way you guys can get the best deal, the lowest price guaranteed. And another feature I love is that you can see the view from your seat in the app before you buy. A nice little 180 panoramic view. Make sure you love the view. That way you don't have to spend your money on a ticket you don't really want, or maybe a seat that's too close to the men's restroom. So all you guys have to do is download the Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, use Game Time, download the app, create an account, use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Todd Downing, you are the next wide receiver coach for the New England Patriots. This game is a bit of a surprise to me, although Todd did have some connection to Vrabel in Tennessee over the course of 3 seasons. So we know that with Vrabel, he has hired plenty of help that he has previously worked with in Tennessee. The only one that he hasn't actually worked with on a coaching staff is Josh McDaniels. But, of course, Vrabel played for New England while McDaniels was starting out his coaching experience for the Patriots. But Todd Downing came as a little bit of a surprise here just because there were other options on the market that I personally thought Mike Vrabel would choose over somebody like Todd Downing. And if you want to know a little bit more here on the new wide receiver coach for the Patriots, he was a former passing game coordinator for the New York Jets as well as a quarterback coach. And there was an opportunity to sign Wes Welker or hire Wes Welker, which is why I thought they were going to try and bring back a former Patriot and arguably one of the best wide receivers the Patriots have seen over the last few decades. But he did coach with Mike Vrabel in 2019 to 2022, not as a wide receivers coach, but in some form or fashion on the personnel, and he recently did coach for the New York Jets. So now that Downing is going to be taking care of the pass catchers, it's not the flashiest name on the market, and really not even having that wide receiver coach with another team. For instance, if maybe he was a wide receiver coach in Cincinnati and we poached him from the Bengals, maybe you could bring along somebody like a Tee Higgins. But now that you've got a guy that's never been a wide receiver coach in his life, I am a little bit nervous that we are going back down the path of an Alex Van Pelt and DeMarcus Covington. He's a first-time wide receiver coach, but he has over 25 years of coaching experience. This makes me think there is a bit of a difference in the AVP and Covington and Drake Maye era because he has learned so many roles, and it is a true building block type of resume. He just kept getting promoted year in and year out because he kept developing. Gives me hope. And Greg Bedard actually to talk a little bit about the hiring process and why they ended up not going with Wes is because he said Vrabel wasn't even involved in the interview. Vrabel wanted to make sure that if Todd Downing was going to be hired, that McDaniels really wanted him. Obviously, the offensive coordinator. From what I understand, that is true. McDaniels really, really, really wanted him. Really liked him. McDaniels, he didn't even need a former receivers coach. He just wanted a really good coach. And with 25 years of experience, that is what you're getting with Downing as your new pass catchers coach. I'm hoping that New England brings in assistant wide receivers coach that can help with more of the technical aspect of the position. But it's refreshing to hear McDaniels a positive outlook on Downing. And with being with the Jets, we knew that he did have a hand in the play calling, which isn't something I want to bring up because the Jets were sucked this year. And I can say that because the Patriots were arguably a little bit worse. I don't think that Downing is going to be in charge of play calling for New England, but it is good to know that he understands how an offense works and how an offense should work. You pair that with a mind like Josh McDaniels, you bring in a couple of pass catchers, you've already got your quarterback, you should have a solid package with the personnel moving forward on the offensive side of the football. My final question for you guys here is, how happy are you with Todd Downing? I know a lot of you guys wanted to bring back Wes because, of course, he played for New England for so many years. So give me a scale of 1 to 10. 1 as in you're not going to watch a single game this year because we just hired Downing, or 10 as in I have the utmost faith in him. I think this is going to be a good move. Lastly, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me if you guys haven't already. If we do end up getting Tee Higgins, I'll talk about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. So if you guys want to go on ahead, hit that sub button for me if you haven't already, and join over 20,000 Patriots fans right here. All right, I got some high numbers in here, which always makes me feel good. Richard Gonzalez with an 8, Daishawn with a 5, Ruan with a 7, Brandon McCaffrey with a 4, Lucas 5. I don't care, it's not a bad hire, but doesn't stick out as like 100% good one, which I also agree with. We're still talking about the draft in here. I'm not even talking about the draft today. We talked about the draft last week. Come on, guys. We need big men in the trenches, or else everything else will be doomed. Cheers to that, even though this is water. Jeremy with an 8. 22 personnel up the wazoo next season. No cap. My goodness. All right. So it seems like Todd Downing isn't a deal breaker for you guys, which is great. You know, I do see Vrabel's side of this, of maybe not wanting to bring in another former player. You already got Vrabel, former player for the Patriots. You already have Josh McDaniels, a former coach for the Patriots. Maybe West just would have been a little bit too much of a reunion. And the only thing that I am nervous about moving forward here is that they're going to continuously try and recreate things in New England that they had when they were players. So maybe it is nice, have a fresh pair of eyes, hasn't been in the New England system yet, and see what he can do with our pass catchers. Tom is saying this is water. It is water. It's liquid death. It's water. This water is actually exquisite. And I know it sounds crazy, but I will gladly pay like $2 for this can. But I got it in bulk at Kroger because they had the sale. Have you guys ever had this? The still drinking water? It's so good. I don't drink water either. It is bougie. It is bougie. I only got it. Don't think I'm not better than you, Lopez, because I drink canned water. But Kroger had a deal, so don't sleep on it. I think I got like 12 cans for $8, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna take that. Kroger do be couponing. Dude, so much better than Tom Thumb. And the coupons are better. My boyfriend's old as shit. He's 28. So he spends his Saturdays couponing now. And he very much looks forward to it. What a hobby. We literally get like coupons in the mail and he'll cut them out. And that's how I got Liquid Death, because I got the coupon. So don't sleep on the coupons. Double S in here saying Liquid Death is awesome. But we're also getting what is Kroger. Is Kroger just a southern thing? No? Yeah. Yeah, Walmart's everywhere. I've had Wegmans, Tom Thumb. I've had Martin's. That was like the giant. Aldi's. Aldi's is a good one too. It's great. I do love Aldi's. I used to always have my little like quarter pouch to get the cart in there. Kroger is Midwest and South. And Thomas Knights has no idea what I'm talking about. You guys are missing out. Kroger has the best deals. Oh, I had Publix for a little while. Publix. I want an HEB so bad here. A Market Basket. Oh, it's like a warehouse. Yeah. I went to the one in San Antonio. It was nice. Anyways, should we maybe talk about our second segment now before we get completely off the rails and start talking about the best grocery stores, which is Kroger. It's undefeated. You can't tell me. Well, the only thing about Publix, I will say, although it is hella expensive, the pub subs are unreal. The little deli where you can get a nice little like boar's head sub. So good, man. So good. I'm also sweating now. But I'm okay. I'm not going to complain. Because we were in D last night for our Celtics watch party. Yeah. No, I can't do it. My guy in the background is a professional conversationalist. I guess, is that you? Maybe. Who the heck knows? All right. Oh, JC Stark in here with a $10 super chat. I think this is the largest super chat we've ever gotten on a live show on Patriots Today. Not a game, but like a live midweek show. You guys must be prepared to not get Higgins. I would go after Godwin or Darius Slayton. Maybe trade for Garrett Wilson. So, JC Stark, I'm glad that you brought this up because I don't want to be a negative Nelly in the Tee Higgins free agency trial or trying to get Tee Higgins, whatever. Tee Higgins. I'm just trying to be realistic in the sense that Tee Higgins playing for Cincinnati, being a wide receiver 2 in Cincinnati and playing with Joe Burrow, I think that if he wanted to get out of Cincinnati last year because he wanted to get paid, the Patriots can do that. That is probably our only asset that we have to offer Tee Higgins in free agency. What I am afraid of is that he is going to want to go to a win-now contender. And what's going to happen next season for New England, they can absolutely be win-now contenders, but there may be some growing pains with that. I would just see Tee Higgins fitting in more with a Harbaugh, Herbert type of situation over there in LA. But I also don't want to put all of our eggs in the Tee Higgins free agency basket like we did last year with Ayuk and Ridley because we saw how that played out and we ended up with no top wide receiver this year. So I just want to make sure that we know there are other free agents out there, and I would be satisfied with a Chris Godwin or an Amari Cooper or a D-Hop or somebody like that if Tee Higgins is not available. MA is saying Publix is awesome as well. All right, I'm ready to hop into our second segment in here. We can talk a little bit more about wide receiver trade targets. So we talked about free agency updates, and obviously Tee Higgins is the number one on that list. So what about trade targets, Chugs, for a wide receiver to give Drake Maye the pass catcher of his dreams? Who would be your dream target to throw the ball to if you were an NFL quarterback?
Livy Dunn.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
Get off my show.
From the people who are available, I wouldn't mind if you're able to get McMillan in the first round, that would be a nice one.
I am on the Tedderoa McMillan train like none other, but most people are on the Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. They really want Abdul Carter with number 4.
Or sneakily, which I know they probably wouldn't trade in division, but if you were somehow able to pry away Garrett Wilson from the Jets,
I know.
That'd be awesome.
We did hire Todd Downing, who was the offensive game caller and quarterbacks coach.
One more for my guy Big Tex, helping out in the 1s and 2s. Golden from Texas, right? He's a stud. He's a former U of H Coug. He's a Texas Longhorn. Really good. Damn.
I don't know enough about him here, but MA said a man of culture, I see.
I think that might be for my Livy Dunn.
I think it was too. Okay. All right, let's talk about not our dream targets, but Drake Maye's dream targets. Lopez, I am ready to rip segment number 2 whenever you are ready to go. You got to get him some help. You have to get Drake Maye some help. And he recently spent some time at the Pro Bowl and got to talk to Kay Adams. And in my opinion, it sounds like he's begging for a star wide receiver. You have to feed your star in the franchise, which we all know is Drake Maye. And I love Pop Douglas. I think Hunter Henry's great too, but those aren't top guys. You know we're talking about the Amon-Ra's, the Justin Jeffersons. Those types of targets that you give top quarterbacks in the NFL, you have to give Drake Maye some help. So we're going to talk about that here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. And I know you guys loved every single minute of watching Drake Maye last year. So how about this? Every like that this video gets, that'll be 1 yard for Drake Maye next season. Through the air, to whatever target we possibly give him to throw the ball to. If you want to see Drake Maye throw for, 9 million yards next season. Go on ahead, hit this liked video for me. 1 like equals 1 yard for Drake Maye next year. So like I said, Drake Maye recently did talk with Kay Adams about possibly having a nice target to throw to. Not necessarily in New England, but I just think he was just talking in retrospect, right? Just because a great quarterback is going to talk about great talent when it comes to pass catching in the NFL. And he did throw a lot of great names out there. Are these names all available for a trade? Probably not. But could Mike Vrabel possibly leverage a growing quarterback in Drake Maye to snag a top wide receiver in the trade market this year? Because when Drake Maye talked about his dream targets, I mean, this gave me butterflies just thinking about the duo that we can create in New England. Jamar Chase is obviously a great answer. Nico Collins was awesome. Nico was awesome. Justin Jefferson, he's an easy person to come to Foxborough. Basically insinuating that he wants a star receiver. He has no problem throwing to Pop. He has no problem throwing to Hunter Henry and Hooper and Bourne. But these aren't the guys he just named. We're talking about the guys that you and I as fans draft in the first and second round of our fantasy, right? Who's taking Pop Douglas in the first 2 rounds? Put your hand down. No, you're not. You're taking Justin Jefferson. You're taking the Amon-Ra St. Browns. You have to give Drake Maye something to work with. Yes, we can go on and on talking about how it starts in the front line. We'll talk about the offensive line plenty in the offseason. But what about a top trade target at wide receiver? Because we know Elliott Wolf, he pulled out all the strings last year. He tried. He tried to offer Brandon Ayuk the most amount of money possible in free agency, and he still denied it and re-signed with the 49ers. We know that he tried with Calvin Ridley. We know that he tried with another 49er in Deebo Samuel. So Elliott Wolf has done his due diligence of possibly getting a top target for Drake Maye. But there's one thing he didn't have last season. He didn't have Drake Maye highlights. We didn't get to show Calvin Ridley and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. We didn't get to show these guys last season what we could give them. Because all you had was Drake Maye highlights from college at UNC, which isn't even, a Bama or an Ohio State or somebody like that. So, wide receivers didn't know about Drake Maye. And now, if you go back, I think some teams might honestly rearrange a draft to take Drake Maye number 1. No shade to Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, both phenomenal quarterbacks, but Drake Maye is just as good. And even guys on defense are starting to recognize that this guy is the real deal. As our lovely cornerback Christian Gonzalez spent some time in New Orleans this week, he also said on an interview, what is it going to look like building the Patriots this year? Christian Gonzalez says it all starts with Drake Maye. Everybody has seen what Drake can do. We got full faith in him. He's a superstar. Being able, as a defender, to get more turnovers, to get back to the Patriot defense, everybody knows, just getting the ball back so that you can let Drake Maye do what Drake Maye does. He says if we get the ball back on defense, we'll give it back to Drake a lot more times. I feel like we could have won a lot more of those games if we had just allowed the offense to play a little bit longer. And because we had a bottom-of-the-barrel defense, we didn't give Drake Maye as many opportunities as he possibly could have had. But he did everything he could while he did have the ball. He spread it out. He tried to hit more receivers time and time again, up to 8 receivers a game, but none of them could produce enough to really make a difference in the outcome of the ball game. So, Allie, who could the Patriots trade for that would be realistic? Because, I don't think Justin Jefferson is going to come to the Patriots. Unfortunately, hate to break your heart. But who would pair up well with Drake Maye? We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. So next, we're going to talk about top wide receiver trade targets. Before I do hop into that, let me go ahead and tell you guys real quick about our sponsor on today's show, Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I play Prize Picks every single game day. If you guys want to join me and 10 million active users who are playing right now in the United States, feel free to do so by downloading the app. Once you get there, just pick more or less on a player's projected stats. That's it. That's how you guys can win up to 1,000 times your cash. 50-50. You guys can do basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey. You can even pull in a little e-game like a nice Call of Duty if that is your speed. And the reason why I love Prize Picks are the promotions. Every single week, every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, a discounted projected stat for a player. Every Friday is Flex Friday, win or your money back guarantee up to $20. But here is the most popular one right now. A big game free pick. I think we all know what big game we're talking about here. If you guys think Patty Mahomes will have 1 passing yard in the big game, you automatically win. Have you ever watched football before? This is an automatic guarantee to win. So go on ahead, take Patrick Mahomes in the big game, and you guys can do that right now by downloading the Prize Picks app, using promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app, use promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. You guys can play today. Go on ahead, test out your skills. Prize Picks, run your game. The report here is that the Patriots are expected to be very, very active in NFL free agency this offseason. And that's awesome. But we've also been down this road before. Well, I just showed you. We tried to get Ridley, Debo, and Ayuk. In free agency, all swings and misses. You can't put all your eggs into the Tee Higgins free agency basket. As much as I would love to say that this is the hottest destination for a guy like Higgins or Godwin, you just can't be so sure. The only way you can absolutely secure that you want that guy to come to New England is via a trade. So let's talk about 4 trade targets to give Drake Maye a pass catcher of his dreams. A.J. Brown, the reader himself, the wide receiver in Philadelphia. He's currently playing for the Super Bowl this upcoming weekend, but we know that A.J. Brown has had a bit of a dispute all season long with the amount of reps that he's getting, with the play callings, with the route running. Maybe it's time for the Eagles and Brown to mutually part via a trade. And wouldn't it be nice to have A.J. Brown come back to his former head coach in Mike Vrabel, a guy that Vrabel has said we still talk to this day. There was a bit of a falling out just because Vrabel made a promise you can never make to a wide receiver in the NFL, and he said you're not going to get traded from the Titans, and now he plays for the Eagles. You saw how that worked out. But this is an 1,000-yard receiver. The Patriots didn't even make it over 800 this year. You have to go out and try to swing for the fences in a trade like A.J. Brown and reunite him with his former coach in Mike Vrabel. And you can give him a quarterback like Drake Maye. And if you guys want A.J. Brown in New England, go on ahead and like this video for me. I know every single one of you does. So if this video gets 10,000 likes, I want to see, if this video gets 10,000 views, I want to see 10,000 likes. Because if every single person watching this video wants A.J. Brown, like this video. Next target, DK Metcalf. I know. I just recently made a video talking about how DK Metcalf said that this place is not a desirable destination for some free agents. And I'm going to be honest. I'm putting this up here for the average Patriot fan. I don't want DK Metcalf. If DK Metcalf does not want to play in New England and he says this is not a desirable destination, then I don't want all the fuss. I don't want the drama. But I would like to have his yards and his pass catching abilities and his hands with 66 receptions and almost 1,000 yards. If he had just gained 8 more yards this year, he would have been a three-peat 1,000-yard receiver. No doubt DK Metcalf is extremely talented, but I worry about the drama. If a guy who's not even on the team right now can say, I don't want to play in New England, I can only imagine what he's going to tell the media while he's here and things don't go his way. But I know as an average Patriots fan, you guys may think differently. Another receiver that may not be as hot of a trade target as an A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf is a Christian Watson, the wide receiver out of the North Dakota State Bison, I should say. Christian Watson, he serves one great purpose as a wide receiver, and it's a long ball, go route, end zone type of playmaker. You can see that he has significantly less receptions this season. He was dealing with some injuries, but still put up 620 yards. That's because he and Jordan Love can absolutely go route down the field. And with a guy like Drake Maye, who complements a Bazooka Joe type of throwing style in Joe Milton, you can find these long ball plays for Christian Watson. You can still work him around DeMario Douglas as your slot receiver and as your quick slant, 10-yard gain. But with a guy like Watson, you're going to be able to showcase more Drake Maye skills. You're going to be able to open a whole new chapter of the playbook if you know you have a long ball receiver that can pair well with a Drake Maye arm. So let me ask you guys this question before I unveil my number 4 wide receiver trade target. Name a trade target for New England that you guys want to see playing for the Patriots later this year. Go on ahead, drop any name down below. I suggest being reasonable, but, you know, it's free country. You guys can do whatever you want. Let's talk about the most reasonable trade target here. It's got to be Mr. Cooper Kupp, right? I know he's a little bit older. I know he's got some injuries to deal with here, but Cooper Kupp would reassure that he would be able to give Drake Maye the experience that he needs. Right now, Maye is not really working with any top receiver in the NFL. We saw how happy he was in the Pro Bowl when he got to throw to a guy like Jamar Chase. Cooper Kupp may not be able to push the needle for the Patriots anymore, but he will be able to help Drake Maye develop, and that is what you want with the Patriots. Kupp makes the most sense in terms of a trade target. But man, oh man, would A.J. Brown, Drake Maye, and Josh McDaniels be hellacious in an offensive scheme for the Patriots moving forward. So obviously my top trade target would be A.J. Brown, but the most realistic trade target is going to be Mr. Cooper Kupp from the LA Rams. Last question for you guys here. If you want the Patriots just to make any move, just to make any trade, go on ahead, like this video for me if you guys haven't already. Like I said, if I get 10,000 views, I want to see 10,000 likes down below. Same for you guys in the chat right now. 151 people watching. We only have 117 likes. Let's get to 150 likes here, please. Still talking about the NFL draft. Looks like I got to make more videos about the NFL draft. Man, I thought you guys would be stoked we're talking about free agency and trades. A lot of you guys did like Kupp. A couple of you guys saying AJ's not leaving Philly. Very true. DK, you know, I'm still not on the DK train, but I can understand why you guys are. Ma saying after he said that, I really don't want him either. Trade for Josh Downs, Gabe Davis, a couple of other trade targets out there as well. All right, so getting kind of, you know, similar feedback here from the videos. Sign Godwin. I think Chris Godwin would be fantastic. I really would. All right, but why don't we just go on ahead and talk about opening up some roster space for the New England Patriots. I'm ready for segment 3 if you are Mr. Lopez. On the third segment, we're going to talk a little bit more here about pending free agents for New England and if New England should re-sign or let them walk, or possibly if they're going to search for something else elsewhere in the NFL, which unfortunately I do think a lot of Patriots players that are entering free agency might definitely want to test the water. So we're going to go on ahead and break that down here in our third show. So go on ahead and stick around for that as I will drink the final amounts of my water here that I have been rationing. I know, Nets4 saying keep Hooper. We're going to talk about him, don't worry. I really did like Hooper this year for the Patriots, so I hope they end up keeping Hooper as well. 123 likes so far, 150 people watching. Devin saying sign Hooper, that's a must. Elliot Porter, what O-lineman should we go for in free agency? So just like I did with the trade targets video, I'm going to talk about that in terms of offensive linemen as well. But just really wanted to hone in, go position by position. You know, we still have a lot of needs. It's not just offensive line, unfortunately. That would be a much easier video to make, but we have to do receivers and linemen and secondary players. So we'll have another video for you in the future. Mr. Lopez, are we ready to go? We're all ready to go? All right, let's hop into segment number 3. let's break down my predictions for some of the top free agents for the Patriots that will be coming up this offseason. There are going to be a lot of guys maybe want to test out the waters, test out the market, see what else is out there for them. Or a couple of Patriots players may want to talk and see that we have the most cap space in the NFL. What can I get to stay here and really see how this Mike Vrabel era is going to start? Before we hop into that, I have one quick request here for you guys. If the Patriots make a move, we make a video. You guys have actually met my cats, Beans and Luna, because I do at-home videos when breaking news happens. I mean, we really have no off days here. So if you guys want a 110% devoted channel to you and the Patriots, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. Help us get to 22,000. We currently have 21,654 subscribers. Let's see if we can get 346 on this video alone. We have numerous free agents set to hit the market that currently play for the Patriots on offense and on defense. If I was a player, I would personally rather stay in New England and see how this Mike Vrabel era really does play out. But also in the same breath, you only have a limited amount of years that you are active and a good player in the league. So you want to try and get the most out of your time in terms of money. So when we do take a look here at Patriots free agents and really what we're dealing with and who could possibly leave us by next season, there are plenty of names to discuss. Obviously, your Jonathan Jones, your Jacoby Brissett's, Dietrich Wise, Austin Hooper, which a lot of you guys have become a fan favorite of. Goes all the way down to the kicker of Joey Sly, and then your Jeremiah Farms, your Ben Browns, and other players that really shouldn't have been starters this last year. But unfortunately, with injuries, you had to play a couple of them. So we're going to break down player by player, mainly the starters and who can actually be an asset for us moving forward. And I'll give you guys my predictions on whether I think they should keep or cut. Let's start with a veteran, Jonathan Jones. I have teetered back and forth on this for quite some time. Jonathan Jones, one thing about him this season is that he looked a little bit washed to me. And I don't blame him because a lot of offenses got to really have whatever they want in our secondary despite Gonzo Island. So with Jonathan Jones pushing in his 30s, one of the oldest players in the Patriots right now, I do think that it would be beneficial for the Patriots to maybe try and work out somewhat of a one-year deal with Jones. I think you keep him for the locker room presence. I think that you keep him for a veteran in the secondary in case you do happen to have some injuries. You know a guy that knows a system. So when you are looking at veterans, it becomes a little bit tougher to try and release them because you don't know where they're going to land because they're pushing them in age. I think the Patriots should work out a one-year deal with them, maybe not rely on him as much as a starter, but more so as a bench player. And speaking of a bench player, we come back to Jacoby Brissett, who was quarterback 2 from week 6 and on, except for that 1 week when Drake Maye did have a concussion. But thankfully, in week 18, we got to see Joe Milton absolutely slang the rock and show us that he actually mimics more of a Drake Maye style of quarterback, more so than Jacoby Brissett does. I do think that Progressive probably felt this a little bit earlier than we did, but I think he's going to be a backup for the rest of his career. So I think he'll try and go look elsewhere. There are a lot of quarterback needy teams in the NFL right now, to the point where we're talking about possibly even trading Joe Milton because there are teams that can have some benefits from having him on his bench. I think Brissett's a good locker room guy. I don't think he's a good quarterback anymore. So I see him signing elsewhere to really hone in on the money. Let's talk about defense real quick. Dietrich Wise Jr. He stepped up big time here for the Patriots this last year because of numerous injuries on the defensive side of the football in your Christian Barmores and your Jawan Bentleys. And I really did grow to like a guy like Dietrich Wise Jr. playing for the Patriots. But I know that I don't think he was very satisfied in New England. So I do think that I would like to end up keeping Dietrich Wise. And I'm going to give a shout out to Nick Lopez making our graphics a little bit fun here. It'd be wise to keep Wise. With a nice wink there as he's letting me know that that is now on the internet, but it's okay. Dietrich Wise, I do think they should try to offer him a one-year deal as well with Jonathan Jones, just because he hasn't gotten to really experience a great New England defense in this new era. He was a part of the top 10 defense that we saw 2 seasons ago, but now let's give him some reward. And I think he'd fit really well in with Terrell Williams. So let me know what you guys think. Dietrich-wise, do we keep him? Do we need him? Type K for keep, type P for pass. I'm going to go with keep, but if Wise wants to go see what else is out there, I could easily see him trying to find another contract. I'm going to hope Austin Hooper doesn't find another contract. I've really, really enjoyed watching Hooper, not so much as a pass catcher, although he is a glorified 10-yard plus type of pass catcher. I love his blocking. On Ramondre Stevenson's longest runs, I sat there, I watched the film. It's because Austin Hooper was paving the way in the gaps to open up that lane for Stevenson to explode. He has become a dual threat as a tight end. And I would really, 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 really like to keep Austin Hooper, but I do think he will end up signing elsewhere. I think that if there's one thing the tight end was able to do, it was showcase his skills, and I could see him catching a nice little 2-3 year deal maybe, and I don't think the Patriots are going to offer Hooper a better deal than Henry because he has been a top 2 receiver for us, pass catcher I should say, in the last 2 seasons. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Hooper, but I do hope the Patriots keep him. And we have more to discuss here coming up on the back half of the show. But first, let me tell you about our sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys are looking to get tickets as Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and let me tell you, men, there is nothing more that means to your girlfriend, your wife, your fiance, or maybe a friend than quality time. Take it from me. I think tickets to a nice event is unpriceable, I think is what I'm trying to say here. Rare? I don't know. The whole point is use Game Time. Why? Because it's the lowest price guaranteed, and you guys will know your total price up front. No surprise. Hidden fees at checkout. So if you guys want to go on ahead and see the Boston Celtics, the Bruins, the Patriots later this year, or any other team or concert that you can find in Boston, go on ahead and download the Game Time app. When you guys get to the app, go on ahead and create an account. And then use promo code CHATSPORTS. This is going to give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, download the Game Time app. Use promo code CHATSPORTS. This will give you guys $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It is game time. Be sure to take advantage of it and download it today. Mr. Okorafor. I started the first game of the season, but I didn't start the second game, so I legitimately quit the team. Okay, that screams retirement more than anything I have ever seen in the NFL. That is up there with Antonio Brown ripping off his jersey and leaving the Buccaneers Stadium. I think that Okorafor is going to retire. I'm surprised he hasn't announced anything just yet. I can't imagine he quit after week 1 and has been practicing at an NFL level the entire time. I think if he doesn't retire, I know for a fact you shouldn't re-sign him because he just showed you what kind of player he's going to be. Daniel Ekuale really stepped in huge for the Patriots on the 3-4 front because of Devon Godchild's injuries and Christian Barmore dealing with those blood clots. I think Ekuale did exactly what he was supposed to do, fill a role. 2 tackles, 1 sack, but nothing really eye-popping out of him on the defense. So I do think that Ekuale will maybe spend the next year or so trying to find his footing with a team, and I think ultimately he'll sign elsewhere. He has now realized that Godchild, Barmore, Keon White, those are probably more of the future for the Patriots, the 3-4 front, so he'll probably try and chase another contract for another team. JaMycal Hasty, really didn't get to see a ton of Hasty, mainly in special teams and punt returns. I do think Hasty will also sign elsewhere. I think that now that you've seen what Antonio Gibson can do as your backup role, and they really more so leaned on Gibson the last couple of games than they did Ramondre Stevenson. So I think Hasty will start to find his footing elsewhere in the backfield for another opponent in the NFL, which is unfortunate. I do think he is one of those shifty, explosive types of running backs, but overall, just don't think he serves a purpose primarily for the Patriots anymore moving forward. Speaking of special teams, Joey Sly, the guy that beat out Chad Ryland, and Ryland ultimately popped off for the Cardinals this season in terms of field goals and extra points. Joey Sly was very steady for the first part of the season. After that, he really struggled with 35-yard kicks, extra point attempts, and don't even get me started on the 50-yard field goals that he tried to complete. I'm not sure if the Patriots want to go to battle for a guy like Sly. If he wants to go and test the waters and still keep the Patriots on a line, I think you just cut it. I don't think you really need to have a bidding war with Joey Sly. Hell, maybe even a 7th-rounder kicker or something to maybe give him some kind of competition would be better for the veteran moving forward. O'Shane Ximines, I thought he did fantastic in early in the season, unfortunately being placed on IR in a season-ending injury. He didn't get to really showcase everything that he was available for in the preseason. I think Ox was a great locker room guy, a great practice guy. A lot of defensive players had nothing but great things to say about him, but maybe he realizes that he'll still be a backup option this year for the Patriots. So I think Ox will end up signing elsewhere, which does suck. I thought he would have been a really good depth piece for us, especially with all the injuries that we sustained this year. But he came from the Giants in free agency. It's not going to be one of those things where I probably want to go to bat for him moving forward. But if the Patriots do make a move and they re-sign or waive any of these guys, I'll talk about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. So if you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me, and help us get to 22,000. Alrighty. Well, I think that's about it. I think we are good. I think we talked about a lot of stuff here. We go live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to have more things to discuss next week. But overall, I think that is all I have for you guys on today's show. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me through all 3 segments, talking about free agents, talking about trade targets, and even talking about Patriots pending free agency as well. I'll keep you guys more updated, and we'll have more content for you next week once the NFL season is officially done. Until then, I'm rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles. I hope they don't allow the Chiefs to get a three-peat, but ultimately, it's either meteoroid or a good game. That's probably where my allies will lie. So thank you guys so much for tuning in here. We're going to go on ahead and hop out of today's show. If you haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. We will be live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Come hang out with myself and Lopez and possibly even Texer.